Hello everybody, welcome to my YouTube channel. Welcome to Health Matters. Indeed, our health matters. Sorry for the long wait, guys. I've been busy with school trying to wrap up with exams to finish my studies. So today we're going to be talking about heat stroke. I know I was supposed to bring this video earlier, but it's never too late. I mean, some people are experiencing summer. I mean, the last days of summer, so in Texas is here. So today we're going to be talking about heat stroke. I'm going to start by defining what heat stroke is, and then we're going to talk about the different types of heat strokes. We're going to talk about the signs and symptoms of heat stroke, and also the difference between heat stroke and heat exhaustion. So without wasting much time, let's dive into what God has said today, guys. So what is heat stroke? Heat stroke is a severe medical condition that has to do with when you expose your body in a normal way, when you expose your body to temperature that is rising above 105 or 6 degrees, some people will say so. So heat stroke is very severe, and we should not take it for granted because it can lead to death. Trust me, it can lead to organs failure, it can lead to brain damage, it can also lead to death. So we want to take it as serious as possible. So heat stroke is when you feel like you have this internal heat that arises from within. And it's usually when you expose yourself to sunlight, like some states or wherever you are. It's pretty hot out there. We have 100 and something degrees. So you want to stay away from direct sunlight. Try to be in a sheltered place where you are not directly exposed to sunlight. So what are the different types of heat stroke? The different types of heat stroke, we have exertional and non-exertional. Exertional is when you expose yourself to heat, like I said, sun's light and stuff like that. While non-exertional heat stroke is this type of heat stroke comes with age. It comes with age or other medical conditions like heart failure, heart disease. You know, your medical condition can impact the rise of heat stroke, so you want to stay out for that. So let's talk about some of the signs and symptoms of heat stroke. Talking about heat stroke, what are the signs and symptoms? Of course, you feel overheated. That's why you like know that, okay, this is something. And I don't know if you guys can identify somebody who is experiencing the heat stroke, but I'm sure you do, because it can lead to fainting. The person can faint, pass out, unconsciousness and stuff like that. So signs and symptoms of heat stroke: we have dizziness, we have fatigue, we have cramps, we have migraines. To some people, oof, what's in your migraines? Yes, those are some of the signs and symptoms of heat stroke that you want to stay alert for that. Okay, so talking about, we all know that another name for heat stroke is hypothermia. Hypothermia is a condition where your body is overheating more than the way it cools down. You know, we have mechanical organisms in our body that helps to cooling down our body temperature. That is why you will go out there under the sun, you feel heat, but you don't get heat stroke, because these mechanical organisms or organs in our body helps to keep our body temperature at least to be stable. When it's hot out there, it tries to cool it down to make you feel not too hot, like how the sun rays is directly from the sun, but it makes you feel like, okay, you can cope with these. So we have those organs that helps to fight, you know, this body temperature. So whenever you're feeling cold, it makes you, you know, try to keep you warm, and whenever you're feeling extremely hot, it tries to cool down your body. So what happens with heat stroke is that with heat stroke, these organs have fallen, like it doesn't work well. The organs like sweating, the glands that helps in sweating, you no longer feel like you're sweating, because at this point your body cannot cool down. These organs cannot cool down your body, so it is excessive for your body to cool down. So what you do when you have hypothermia, which is heat stroke, is that you want to call your emergency number wherever you are. In the US, it's 911. So you want to make sure you call 911. And also, I mean, if it's in a scenario where there are 2 or more people, somebody else might be calling 911, and somebody else might just help transfer you to a cooler place. Usually, I do advise that it should be like in an air-conditioned setting where you have enough cooling. And then also, if you are in an area, let's say in the field or in a soccer game where you don't have access to maybe air condition in the field or whatever be the case, if there is an ice block, you can use it, or use a warm, no, not warm towel, use a cool towel, and then put it at the neck of the person or at the groin areas to keep the person, you know, cool down a little bit. And also you want to encourage cool liquid, like give the person cold water if that's gonna help, and then also give the person cool fluid like watermelon. I mean, anything that is, you know, hydrating, that can keep the person, because at this point the person is dehydrated. So you want to give the person enough fluids, enough what it takes to keep them hydrated once more. So you don't want to play with hypothermia, heat stroke. It's something that, just like the word stroke, it is what it is. We are not blagging about it. Just from the word stroke, you know how stroke is. For those of you who have somebody who is suffering or recovering from stroke, you know how stroke is. It like paralyze the area that is affected. So that is the same way it is when it comes to heat. The name stroke, it still stays the same because it has almost the same signs that you will see. Like for example, if a person has a heat stroke, the person sometimes goes off conscious, sometimes fainting, sometimes migraine, sometimes this like headache, dizziness, vomit, nausea, you name the rest. So just like the normal stroke that you know of or you have seen somebody go through, that's the same what the person go through. So the difference between heat exhaustion and heat stroke is that exhaustion is more severe. Heat stroke is more severe than exhaustion. Heat exhaustion, this person is like the reverse of heat stroke. With heat exhaustion, this person is like sweating, excessively sweating. Like the person is excessively sweating. Just that the person external environment is, the heat is too much for the person to cool down at that moment, where the person is sweating. On the other hand, heat stroke is when it is coming from internal, when your internal temperature is above 104 degrees. That's disgusting. That's a lot. So you want to stay tuned, and if you've seen anybody experiencing heat stroke, you want to assist them in one way or they can, because they can actually die in the process of undergoing heat stroke. It's not something to ignore. If you see somebody going through heat stroke, and from what I've explained, the signs and symptoms, the person might pass out, the person might be crying. Sometimes the person does not even have the voice like, oh, I'm dying. No. But if you see any of these signs, headache, migraines, the person just passed out like that without no signs and symptoms or nothing like that, you could check, especially in a setting where, let's say, it's in a gathering under the sun, like a soccer game. Sometimes you might not even be aware that, I mean, from the explanation now, you got the point that, okay, if you see this going on, you could be suspecting a heat stroke. The person might not come to you and tell you that, hey, I got a heat stroke going on right here, but you can tell because the person will just maybe collapse on the floor, and then the person cannot even walk, the person cannot even stand, the person cannot sustain themselves. You should check out, I mean, despite the other medical conditions that the person might have, you could check out and see that the person is undergoing or has been affected, or the person has heat stroke. And then you want to make sure that if you have a towel, you want to make sure that it is cool, and then use it, and then you can put it in the neck of the person just to cool down the temperature, because at this point the person is feeling really hot, especially from internally. So you want to stay out for that. And please, if you can share this video, that would be great, because it's going to help somebody somehow someday. You might never know how far this will go. So you want to share the video and make sure that we all are aware. I mean, something is better when you are aware than when you have no clue about it. So heat stroke hypothermia is very, very important, and is very, very severe. That's why I'm bringing it up to you guys, so you guys can take it seriously. And especially non-exertional stage of heat stroke. Sometimes it's occur, especially with the elderly. Sometimes you might see your grandpa, your grandma, or your parents. You know, they just collapse, especially in a house where there's no air condition and the temperature outside is so wide. You want to make sure that you're checking on them, calling them on the phone. Hi, grandpa, are you okay? Is the temperature in the house okay for you? Because sometimes this really is really worsened when they have other medical conditions like heart failure or heart attack. The little spark is just going to blow off everything. So we don't want to take that risk. That's why I'm bringing it out to you, so we all can be aware, and then we fight against heat stroke. And then also, when it comes to the remedies, some of the things that I would advise you to do is that try to be away from the sunlight. Like if you go somewhere, I prefer you stay maybe where you are not directly in contact with sunlight. That way it can help you, because you never know. Sometimes it's really hot out there. Texas, oof, gosh, it's really hot out there, and you don't know how far that can affect you. You know, you don't want to be sick over something that can be avoided. So you try as much as possible to avoid direct contact with sunlight, and then try not to be exposed to sunlight that much. I mean, the once in the morning is good for vitamin, but still you don't want to be exposed to the excessive hot sunlight during the day. That's not good for your health either. So stay tuned for that, and watch out, watch your kids, watch the people you're living around them. You know, you can never tell. So stay away from sunlight, and if that happens, if you do suspect a heat stroke or hypothermia, you want to call the ambulance. Also, you want to make sure you bring the person to a cooler place. I would prefer a room that has a air condition. That way it helps in cooling the person's temperature right down. And then also you want to make sure that the person get enough fluid, cold fluid, because at this point the person is really hot. So this is what I have for you guys today. If you have any questions, you can text me or leave it in the comment section below. And thank you for watching this video, and I pray you share it. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe for your more health tips, and God bless you. Thank you. I'll see you all next week for another video.